Hey guys, it's me, All-Star Plush Productions, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make your very own Midbus plush from Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. This has been a long-awaited tutorial, and I'm happy to finally get it out. You can find the pattern for this guy with the link in my description on my Twitter. Now, let's get into the materials. The materials you will need are pink fabric, which I'm switching out for blue, light pink, which I'm switching out for light blue, yellow, black, and cream fabric. You're also going to want some white fabric. You're going to need thread in the colors of blue or pink, depending on which midbus you're making, white, and black thread, along with pins and needles, scissors, and stuffing. Lots of stuffing. Lay out all your pieces like this. You can find the template in the link in the description. First thing you're going to do is take your bottom foot piece and sew your sole into it, around right here. It should look something like this once it's sewn in. Now take your toe piece and sew it across this straight edge. Once you're done, it should look something like this. Take your top foot piece and also sew the toe onto that straight edge, up right here. Right across this edge. Once you're done, it will look like this. Take the back of the foot and sew up the edge right there. It should look something like this once that's done. Then take the bottom of the foot and sandwich the two pieces together and sew all the way around. Then it should look something like this. Now take your leg piece, and this is a bit complicated, so listen carefully. Take the curvy side of your back leg piece, on the inner leg piece, and sew it onto the curvier side of the leg piece, like this. On the shortest side of the leg piece, use the shortest side of the inner leg piece and sew that part up. This could be a little tricky and you might get it wrong the first time, but it should look something like this. Next, you'll want to grab your foot piece that you just finished and sew all the way around. Make sure it's inside out. It should look something like this once it's done. Make sure to mirror this for the other leg. Once you're done, you should have your two legs. Now take your body piece, and you're going to want to sew up the side from the tail all the way to where the stomach should be, right here, along the bottom side of the body piece. It should look like something like this once you're done. Now take the dart at the top where the arms should go and sew those up, just like this. Now lay your body like this, take your stomach piece and sew the very bottom right across this edge here, and line it up with the top of the body piece here, and sew across right there. Do the same thing for the other side. It should look something like this. Now, this could be complicated too. Put your leg piece in. Make sure that the top of the inner leg piece goes further than when it matches up with the seam of the stomach, so that it should look something like this. As you see, it is farther than the stomach. If you do it wrong, you will have tipped feet. Next, you're going to want to sew up the dart on this arm, right here. After that, it should look something like this. Then grab your underarm piece and place it on top of your arm piece. Then you're going to want to sew from this edge all the way around the arm and the hand all the way to the upper edge again. Then, once flipped right side out, it should look like this. Now that you have that flipped right side out, you're going to attach it to the arm the same way you did with the leg, making sure the top dart is aligned with the top seam on the dart of the body. So all the way around. Then your arm should look like this. Now, we're going to get into the shell. So, sew across all these edges of the spikes, making sure to leave the bottom open, all of them. Then flip them all right side out, position them on your back, which could be yellow or fuzzy brown. Then place them like this. You can stuff them if you want. I didn't stuff mine though. Now place the shell over them and sew across the back edge right up here, sewing the spines, or the spikes I should say, in with the shell. Then it should look something like this. Now flip that inside out. You get your body and flip that inside out. Once you have your body flipped inside out, you're going to place your shell on top of your body. And so from the top of the body corner, the top of the shell corner, all the way around to the middle of the bottom, and then all the way back up, like this. Way down here to this edge, and then from that edge, all the way up again to the other corner. Right along that edge. Then it should look something like this. Now, our body is pretty much done. Now we're going to start on the head. So get your face pieces and soap all the darts on the face piece, making sure to mirror it for the other one. Then it should look like this. You're going to grab the bottom of your face piece, the less curvy side, and you're going to sew those two together, as you see, like I'm doing right here. So across this edge. Then the face should look like this. Now you're going to grab your head piece and sew up the dart right here. Then, once your darts and your heads are done, you're going to take the larger end of your head and start on the back end of the face, making sure to go towards the dart right before where the chin is on the face. Then it should look like this. This part may be a little tricky. Next, you're going to sew your head up. You're just going to sew this curved edge right here, all the way to this edge, leaving the flat ends open. Now it should look like this. Now take your undersnout piece and place your snout on top of it. Sandwich together the bottom of your snout and the bottom snout piece and sew across the straight edge right there. Now once that's sewn like that, it should look like this. Now take your upper snout piece and you're going to want to sew along the snout on the longer edge of it. Now that that's done, both of them sewn on should look like this. Now you're going to want to sew across the top of the snout and the two bottom sides of the snout. Then it should be like this. Now you can flip it right side out. Once it's like that, grab your face, your head, and you're going to stuff the snout into it, making sure the bottom is on the bottom of the chin. Stuff it in like this. Then once you have it in, sew it all the way around. Once it's sewn into the head, it should look like this. Now you're going to take your body and your head and you're going to stuff them. Once your body and your head are stuffed, they should look like this. Now, you're going to want to do a running stitch across your body. Not too tight though, or else your body will look weird with its arms. Then ladder stitch the head onto the body. Then it'll look like this. Now, take your tusk piece and sew across all the way from here to here, leaving this edge open. Then it'll look like this once it's stuffed and turned right side out. Then you're going to squeeze it like this and sew it onto the bottom where the tusks should come out of the mouth. Right here. Once that's sewn on, you're going to stitch your tusk up to the face so that it sticks up and it's not flopping down. Then it'll look like this. Do this for the other tusk. Once both tusks are on, it should look something like this. Now take your mouthpiece and sew it right under where the tusks are. Sew it on with a ladder stitch all the way around, leaving the flat edge open. Once you have that, leave this edge open again, and right before you close it, stuff it with some stuffing to give it a little more shape. Then once you're done with stuffing that, you can ladder stitch it closed. Next, take your horn piece and sew these two curved edges on it. Leave this edge open. Then, flip that right side out, stuff it, and sew onto the head. You want to sew it where the dart of the headpiece ends. Then, it'll look something like this. Do that for the other horn. Then, you're going to put a stitch in your top where your nose piece is, like right about here. And what you're going to do is you're going to pull your thread all the way through, making sure to tie a good knot. What we're going to do is we're going to make a fold in the nose so that it looks a little more, well, sniffy, I guess. This is what it should look like once it's done. You're going to pull it through the pink after going through the cream, then back out through the cream, back in through the pink, back out into the cream, and then ladder pull it so that it creates this fold, and then ladder stitch the messy part closed. Next, what you want to do is make some nose holes. Again, this is what the snout should look like. Now you're going to make some nose holes just with black felt, like this. You're going to want to place these nose holes about where it can cover up the messy stitches. Now you're going to grab your brow piece and you're going to sew it on to your head. Ladder stitch it on, and as you go, stuff it. I have a time lapse of me doing this, but well, it's not, you can't really focus on it too well, but as you see here, I stitch it down at the base, and then I ladder stitch it along the head with its curve. Then as I get towards the top, I decide to stuff it there, as you'll see me do here. I stuffed it, and now that that's stuffed, I'm going to sew it back down on this side. Then it should look something like this. It should be like pretty 3D and stuffed. Now you can do this for the other brow. Then grab some white felt and some black felt and make an eye that's basically a semicircle and then a little black circle inside. Place it against the brow and you'll be done. Now draw on paper Midbus's tattoo, put some tape over it, cut it out, and then glue it onto your body. If you can do this with felt, also cool. Now stitch your shell to the back of your head. You can do this with a ladder stitch. Now what you're going to do is we're going to make a dent in the head. So sew in the middle of the forehead, come back out through the back of the head, and then pull it. This should make a dent in the head. Once you have that dent, I used a blue marker to color in to shade it a little bit. Now be careful if you do this, because it could get really messy, as it could bleed everywhere. Just make sure that the marker you have doesn't bleed too much. Next, you're going to grab a black strip of felt, long enough to fit around the arm of your midbus. Then you're going to want to get 6 white dots and glue them on to each row. And then glue that onto your arms. Now, if you're not making Blizzard Midbus, your plush is finished here. But for Blizzard Midbus, we're going to make the crown. So take your crown piece and sew it across this bottom straight edge and this top edge with all the lines. Leave these 2 straight edges open on the sides. Once you got that, flip it right side out and sandwich the 2 places where you flipped it right side out from and sew those edges together. Then your crown will look like this once it flips the right way out. Then you can sew that or glue that onto your midbus. Also make sure to stitch some fingers on him. Then, once that's on, whichever midbus you've made, your plush is finished.
Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to show me your midbus on Twitter. You can just tag me and I'll make sure I see it. You could also make a YouTube video on it if you want. Just tell me what you did in the comment section. Now, of course, I might make some other plushies. There are other plush tutorials that are coming out this year, and I know this was a long-awaited tutorial, so I'm very happy I finally got it out. Of course, we have the Piranha Plant tutorial and the Mecha Jeep tutorial coming up soon. But until then, I will see you guys in the next video.